Hello fellow humans and welcome to the episode of Your Replays. If you want to send me your replays, put them in my Discord server. Link to that down in the description. And we start off with a gamer in the VK90, a vehicle that is one of the very few vehicles that are actually good on this side of Himmelsdorf. So let's have a look. And the enemy leopard lived for exactly 32 seconds. Now this vehicle, 2.68 APM, 460 alpha damage, 0.32 accuracy, not that great there. 10 degrees of gun depression over the side of the vehicle, not the front. And a powder weight ratio of 11. However, the armor, unlike that of a, let's say, VK72, is actually able to perfectly side scrape, and that combined with the rear turret makes it a absolute monster at side scraping. So very good tank for that. Now the problem really is you don't have the alpha damage that, say, a E100 or a VK72 has. You're more of an I7 level of alpha damage, which can be a problem in a stationary peeking fight like this. But the enemy E100 is grossly incompetent, as you can clearly see right here, so it makes it very easy to simply whittle him down onto low HP, because even though the VK90's turret is at the rear in a position like this, you can sort of peek while still having the front hidden. Now, this is a bit of a little mistake here. I wouldn't have just thrown away 645 hit points here, because the E100 is a bad player. You can clearly see that. So giving up 600 hit points, not ideal there, but it just works just fine. And now, look at the minimap, right? There's guys behind you. If there's guys behind you, you can either run forward and fight the tanks that are in front of you, or if you're in a vehicle that's this slow and you can't reach the heavy tank and the enemy spawn, you simply have to turn around and fight. Now, the enemies are three. This VK90 is currently isolated and alone. What the enemies could do here is they could put on their man pants and push, but they're not going to do that. They're instead going to choose a positional fight against one of the best positional heavies in the game. Quite unfortunate. Now, the convoy of the Kranwagen has abandoned this 57 heavy, and if I was that 57 heavy, I would also try to get out of there as quickly as possible, because 57 heavy, he can't clip the VK90. It's impossible. So he's not going to win this fight, pretty much whatever he does. So he has to get out of there, but he's not choosing that. He's choosing to stick around, and that is a very big mistake here. And he's even ignoring the VK90 now. So one of the simplest and easiest things in this game, but also quite tricky to understand, is when to fight, right? It's a simple concept. It's either if you win the fight, you fight. If you can't win the fight, you run away. But how do you find out whether you're going to win or not? Well, to figure that out, you have to lose quite a lot of times. Because eventually you start figuring out, all right, I won that, I lost that, I won that, I lost that, and then you'll eventually, if you pay attention, you can start to understand what fight is worth fighting. And because sometimes a tank that's worse than your vehicle can be in a better position, making it still not worth fighting. Or like this Kranwagen, which in a hull down fight, the Kranwagen would be a monster. But on a flat ground surface like this, it is absolutely helpless. And now, the only tank that remains is the Conway that ran away earlier. Is there anything he can do? Well, not really, because in the Conway's choice here, he's probably using the correct gun, and that's the Hesh gun. The problem is, this is a VK90. It don't do standard ammunition in most cases, so to have a tank that doesn't have premium ammo is very bad in this case. Even if you also have a backup of the Object 140, that works. Mine, I want ace. Now, quick thing here. Earn it. Don't beg for it. The Object 140 is being nice here, and he's completely gifting this Conway to Gamer here. But remember, teammates owe you nothing. If you don't get it, that's on you, basically. And you can use the teammates to your advantage all you want, but don't expect them to be nice to you. It would be great if they're nice to you, but it's Blitz. Don't expect it. But do expect the WZ-121 Inquisition. 420 alpha damage. Nice. 3,400 DPM, 6 degrees of gun depression only, which is quite a downside. Effective power to weight ratio of 33, which is too much. And very good turret and decent hull armor as well. Low plate to weak spot, as it always is. So what do you have here? Another thing that's interesting about this vehicle is the aim time of this vehicle is even lower than the amount of time a Chinese child takes to make a new iPhone, at 0.91 seconds. So that's impressive aim time. Unfortunately, the end accuracy that you end up with isn't really as good as a lot of other tier 10 mediums, but obviously given that it's such a big gun, it is somewhat understandable that you're gonna have less accuracy, and it's also Chinesium. So the thing is, with this vehicle, it doesn't really have the gun depression, so it's the advanced man's Soviet medium tank, where you don't want to play with the low alpha damage, low armor vehicles, such like an Object 140. You pick this thing. Now, is it better? Yes, it is. Because even though it has the same gun depression, it does have the same DPM, but it has massively better alpha damage. And you know what it means to also have better alpha damage? It also means better HE damage, as shown here by Applehead. So, a lot of apple heads in here. Apples are good. Eat them. They're healthy for you. Just saying. But now, this side of the map isn't really that good in most cases, because it's the heavy side, and that's where the noobs go on pretty much any map. But if you can make it work, if you're a very advanced player, you know how to farm the noobs, and this is exactly what's happening here. Because a CS63 and a Progetto on this side, yeah, now they ain't no good. Because Applehead started off on the good side and now moved over here to clean up this mess. And 3 versus 4, there is some cleaning up that has to be done here, especially because now that Kranwagen is pretty much doomed to die as well. And we have a full health FV4005 still alive in the background. It's the thing, like in the VK90 game, preserve your hit points till the end. Because if you do that, you have a lot bigger chances of converting a game like this. Because if you were on 86 hit points like that T62A right now, there will pretty much be no chance of winning this game. But 1,400 is enough to carry you through a big engagement. Especially also with a high alpha damage vehicle like this, less shots, less times to expose yourself, and it also has received tungsten, so you can get even higher alpha damage. And that was a bit of an unnecessary hit point spot there. Hit point spotting is when you peek a corner when you don't know where the enemy team is, and then you get shot, and then you know where the enemy is, so trading hit points for information. At that point, though, the 4005's position was already known, so that was a bit unnecessary there. But nonetheless, 1,003 hit points still remaining in a 1v2 situation. What you want to do here is disengage. Move away from the enemy team. Don't allow the 5A and the 4005 to play together to focus you at the same time. That is the absolute last thing that you want. You don't want those two enemies to play together. And as it seems now, they're not, because the WZ is chasing and the FE4005 is nowhere to be seen. Now the priority here is, as it always goes, easiest target, most dangerous target, then the rest. Easiest target in this case is the WZ5A, because obviously he's on lower hit points, and he's also less danger due to the FE4005's massive autoloader. However, the 4005, it doesn't really have any armor. So the problem with the 4005 isn't really that it's hard to kill. The problem with the 4005 is that it's hard to kill and stay alive, because it can kill you faster than you can kill it, especially on 1,000 hit points. But he absolutely miscalculated here, looking the wrong way, and that HE goes straight into the back of his thick head. And here's the lack of gun depression on display right here. Now, it does make sense for the enemy to take the cap circle here, especially that there's only 1 minute 30 left on the clock. And basically, Applehead could just simply get out of this entire situation, just completely run away, and the enemies would have zero chance of actually finding him. So capping in this case is the correct choice, because it also does force Applehead to engage directly with the 4005, which is what you don't want to do. But the 4005 miscalculates again because of the great move of Applehead of going one way, getting unspotted, and then going back the other way. It's one of the oldest tricks in the World of Tanks Blitz book, and it works every damn time. 52 seconds left. And now the 5A has had enough, and he's now trying all his damnness to push forward. But given that his vehicle is made of Chinesium as well, he doesn't really have any hull armor and doesn't have a lot of DPM, so him pushing here directly is pretty much suicidal. And also the 4005 still capping when there's only 28 seconds left is also a bit of a bad situation because there's no way that they can win now. So this is not looking very good for them, even though they had quite a massive advantage. And 7,200 damage is quite the number, but despite doing that, there's only 10 seconds left, which is not enough to kill both of the enemies in this case. 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. That's quite unfortunate. But no, there's still more. Because even though the time's at 0, the game hasn't ended yet. Now it has. Has it? Where's the game? Ooh. Now it has ended. Now, in World of Tanks PC, capping the base at the end of the battle or getting a kill right at the end of the battle extends the battle time by 5 seconds. That also seems to have been the case here, but nonetheless, despite the draw, 8,000 damage and a very well done game.